going on, everybody? My name is Dominique, aka Imperial, and before we start today's video, I just want to say I appreciate everybody dropping by to check out the content, taking time out of your busy days to see what I got going on over here. My sub goal for the month is 50, just 50. And if you like what we're doing over here, just go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And if you don't mind, also drop a like. It helps out the channel and it gets us out there to other people. Also, if you agree or you disagree with the content that we're putting out, just go ahead and drop a comment below. That's below. That way we can talk about it. So, for today's video, I just think it's interesting how the narrative is starting to change around Jalen Hurts. You know, just a couple weeks ago, just even last week maybe, everybody was saying, oh, Jalen Hurts, we don't know what he's about. You know, we don't know if he's an accurate enough quarterback. They love bringing up the fact that he only had a 52 completion percentage last year in 4 games. They like to throw out that he was only 1-3 in those 4 games. They like to throw out that he had 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions last year in those 4 games. But they don't like to bring out the content surrounding those 4 games, or the context, if you will. So we all know that the Philadelphia Eagles were pretty much battered last year, especially at the offensive line. And I don't know what quarterback, competent, incompetent, Tom Brady down to Tyler Heineke, I don't know if either one of those guys or anybody in between would have been able to do anything successful with what we had going on our offensive line last year. No NFL team in history ever had 14 different combinations of an offensive line at any point, at any time in their career. So you got to imagine what he was dealing with back there. You know, and given that circumstance, I think he still handled it well. You know, there weren't any game out of that 4-game stretch where we weren't in it. All of them were winnable, in my opinion. It's just some things that you got to learn on the fly. And I feel like those 4 games, Jalen Hurts learned a lot. Granted, I don't think it was enough to say, oh, he's the next coming to Donovan McNabb or Michael Vick. But it's also to say, no, he's not good. Or I don't think it would have been valid to say he was a bum or anything in that imagination. But like I said, the narrative is starting to change after 1 game. I believe, and I believed the whole time, that Jalen Hurts will be great in this league. I believe that the Eagles did right by drafting him. Sure, it may not have been the best thing for Carson Wentz at the time, but you see how that worked out. And he's a baller. You know, he's going to do what he has to do to win. And at every single level, he's won. Yeah, sure, he got beat out by Tua at Alabama, but you know, everything happens for a reason. He went to Oklahoma, and then he was a Heisman Trophy finalist. And people also like to say, wait, before we even go there, I just want to say, people seem to not know the stats, right? So I did some digging around, and I looked up Trevor Lawrence's stats, completion percentage specifically, versus Jalen Hurts' completion percentage specifically. Trevor Lawrence, I believe, had a 66 point something completion percentage throughout his whole college career at Clemson, which is great. Never lost a game. Good on him. Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, 4 years, 3 at Bama, 1 at Oklahoma, had a 65%. That is the difference of 1%. So why is the narrative of Trevor Lawrence coming out of college that, oh, he's the most accurate quarterback we've ever seen, he's the most NFL-ready quarterback we've ever seen, yada, 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 just doing the most. But then when it comes to Jalen Hurts, oh, he has struggled with accuracy. That's why he was benched for Tua. That's why he was, you know, pulled out of the game inevitably for Tua Tagovailoa, and that's why he had to leave, because he got beat out because he was an inaccurate quarterback. What are y'all talking about? But whatever. I just had to throw that out there. Yeah, man, I really do hope that the continued success for Jalen is continued. I hope that everything works out for him. That way he can just prove to people that y'all were wrong. That, to me, that's what I would be on. Y'all were wrong, and I'm going to make y'all eat them words. Moral of the story. Also, at 1 o'clock, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be taking on the San Francisco 49ers. And this is set to be one of the better games of the week, in my opinion. It's going to show guys that the Philadelphia Eagles are serious. And last week just wasn't a fluke because we were going up against a a quote unquote bad Atlanta Falcons team, which I think is nonsense, because anybody that's in the NFL that's getting paid, that's a professional at any level, is supposed to conduct themselves as a professional. Now, with that being said, I know some teams are set up in other positions that are better than other teams, but I don't think Atlanta was constructed poorly. I just think their execution was poorly. Like I said before in my last video, Cordero Patterson was tearing us up at the beginning of the game. Why did they stop doing that? But we already made that video, so we're going to press on. The things that I think we need to do as an Eagles team in order to beat these guys, I think we need to continue to have running the ball a focus. I think Kenneth Gainwell and Miles Sanders both did very, very well against that Atlanta Falcons defense. And with the defense of the 49ers banged up, I think we can take advantage of that running the ball also. I think Jalen Hurts can squeeze in a couple keepers in there. Probably some off the script runs probably will do us pretty decent. I think continuing getting the ball in the playmakers' hands and letting them make plays from there, I think that's going to help us out a lot. One thing I don't want to see from the Eagles offense, more specifically the offensive line, is just the sloppy play. We had a lot of fouls last week. I don't know the exact number, but when I do remember seeing it on the little ticker down there, it was at 6 penalties for about 37 yards. I don't want those to be the reasons why we lose this game. I know Nick Sirianni is probably going to get those guys dialed in, get that mess kind of cleaned up a little bit, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I just want to make sure those guys are ready. They're not getting crazy calls. You know, Lane Johnson got an illegal man downfield in the red zone. Like, what? When does that ever happen? Granted, we ended up getting that touchdown back, but in a weird stroke of fate, maybe that would have caused the turnover, you know, in a different alternate Marvel universe, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, as long as that we run the ball, Jalen Hurts, you know, he's quick and decisive with his throws, and we button up on those little loose things that we need to button up, I think we'll be fine on the offensive side. On the defensive side, I think getting pressure on Jimmy G or Trey Lance, whichever one of those guys is in there, I think that's key. It all starts there. If the guys can't get passes off, or if the running back can't get no lanes, I mean, there's nothing they can really do. It's going to be an easy day for our defensive secondary and our linebackers if that front can get home. And that's pretty much it. You know, special teams, if we can force some of if our punter can get a couple more of those good punts that he had down there in Atlanta and pin them back, I think we'll be in good position. I don't like them really driving, 80 yards to a touchdown. I don't think they're competent enough to do that, especially with a banged up running back and Raheem Mostert. Well, not even banged out, just out. And then they'll have a new running back in there. Speaking of which, I saw earlier that they had picked up Kerryon Johnson, our old training camp running back, off of waivers earlier in the week. So maybe they'll have him in there. I know a lot of people get worried when they have players from one team going to another team, think they're going to leak information, but I just don't see that happening. I don't think Kerryon Johnson was in the room, the running back room, or in the Eagles uniform long enough to kind of really pick up what we were going to be doing in the regular season. I mean, sure, he knows what we were doing through preseason, but I don't think we're really using that anymore. Maybe if we go up 26 and the game is almost over, we'll revert back to some of that preseason playbook. But other than that, I don't think that guy really knows much of anything. I'd be more worried if somebody like Boston Scott or Miles Sanders or even Kenneth Gainwell just up and left and went over there in the middle of the week than I am really worried about Kerryon Johnson. But with all that being said, if the Eagles can follow that kind of game plan, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be 2-0 by the end of the week, sitting pretty on the top of the division, heading to Dallas for the following week. And yeah, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Again, like I said at the beginning, if you like the content, if you enjoy it, if you agree, or even if you disagree, be sure to follow my stuff on Twitter. That's where I'll be posting some of the content after hours, after the YouTube scene's done. Subscribe to the videos. Like I said, there's a 50 follower goal that I'm trying to reach by the end of the month. Like it. If you don't agree with what I'm talking about, or if you want to add some stuff for me to add to these videos, go ahead, drop a comment down below, and make sure you like the video, because if we don't get no likes, we don't get pushed out. And all I want to do is just bring this good content to all my favorite Eagles fans out there, because y'all are the best. We are the best in the NFL. We are the best in the NFC East. Just on a lighter note. But with that being said, take care. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Thanks for kicking it with me for a few minutes, and I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.